Adam Taxin, Right Side Broadcasting Network, here in Columbus, Ohio, where Donald Trump is going to speak tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the Convention Center. We're a few minutes away from there right now. I'm going to talk to two people, both semi-famous, about Trump and their thoughts on Ohio and also the Jewish community. I am on the left of the screen with Joseph Murray, whom you may remember as Calvin from the days he played for Ohio State, and I'm a little more partial to his time with the Philadelphia Eagles, but that's not so true here in Columbus. And also with Paul Palnik, who's a published cartoonist with a certain degree of fame as well. And thank you for joining RSBN today, and thanks for talking to me. I guess I could start with your general thoughts on the election and what's at stake.
Well, I think it's a very black and white decision to me. What's at stake is America. I think between freedom and the government taking over everything. Mm-hmm. And they've been doing it now for the last 8 years, and they're getting a stronger and stronger grip. And I think we need a man to kind of, like an ice pick, to break the logjam with hard, tough questions. And I think Donald Trump's the man to do it. I literally cannot wait for the debates to see him confront head-on what seems to be something that's without substance.
Mm-hmm. Joseph, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with everything that my brother has said here, and also too, I see a critical situation because I work with youth, mm-hmm. and I see.
Is that your organization, by the way, on your shirt?
No, that's just one of my supporters.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what bothers me is the future, mm-hmm. not just even now where we are, but also when you hear about Black Lives Matters, what that really means, and all the different things that are going on within the communities, mm-hmm. and as well as within the Jewish community. There's a lot of things that we need to be more truthful. We need to let people know what's really going on instead of masking and manipulating and doing things. I even saw the movie Hillary's America.
Oh.
So that really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was really not privy to. So.
Did you see it as well, Paul?
Yes, and it was very joyful for me because he was giving voice to something that I had been witnessing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how anyone could sweep this email corruption under the rug and pretend that they don't see it. I don't see how anyone could sweep what they did to Bernie Sanders under the rug so mm-hmm. no one sees it. I don't see any way that they could see this massive bribery that was going on in broad daylight with the Clinton Foundation and pretend it doesn't exist, and then to watch her standing up there speaking as if she's a perfectly pure and honest person. I think Donald Trump is the man to confront her and confront her hard, and I'm dying to see how she handles it.
You know what, Joseph, he brought up, that people are getting away with it, and you said you work with youth a lot. Mm-hmm. Do you see any effect there? Have they noticed that, well, is there an element of, why should I follow the law?
Well, that's what it is. Right now, the youth, for example, when we grew up, the youth of the police officers said, halt, you halt.
Right.
The police said, do this, you did what you were told to do. And I see now kids define not only police order, but I watch how they're even working with their parents. Mm-hmm. Their parents say don't do that, and they go and do it anyway. So we really have a problem just in our families, in our communities, mm-hmm. in our schools, in our businesses. People don't want to go to work. When they mm-hmm. go to work, they get a paycheck, they leave, or they feel they can go smoke marijuana mm-hmm. and go to work, or they can come in whenever they feel like coming in, or they can just quit any old kind of way. All those type of things are affecting, our society, and it is getting worse.
And I guess you particularly knew about rules because you played for Woody Hayes, right?
Right.
So rules were definitely a big deal when you were young.
Rules were definitely. As a matter of fact, when we talked to the media, he would ask the question and he would answer the question, and we just said, yes, coach.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to shake the camera there. Now, in terms of specific issues related to Israel and just Jews and following trying to be a good person in general and live a somewhat holy life. How does that relate to your thoughts on the election?
I think one side is very much interested in the sanctification of life, and another side treats it like it's not such an urgent issue as speaking now about abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a Jewish issue in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Donald Trump has demonstrated a long-term friendship with Israel, a very long-term comfort with working with Jewish people in New York City. And I in no way feel, in any way, that he's anti-Semitic the way the left is trying to portray him. And I think it's the other way around when it comes to Mrs. Clinton, that the question of her supporting Israel, in my mind, is highly doubtful, as we see her embracing the Palestinian cause and hugging it close to the Democratic Party. You saw the convention with the flags waving like that?
Not on the first night.
Yeah. The Palestinian flags waving.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking
burning
about
the Israeli flags just on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I found that repulsive, and I didn't hear a full-throated apology.
Right.
Well, my take is, I agree with my brothers as just said, but also I see Israel as to turn to Hashem.
Mm-hmm.
Israel needs to rely not on America, not on anybody, but Hashem himself. And maybe this is a wake-up call for us as Jews to really to unite together and to do what we are supposed to be doing and rely on Hashem, and let Hashem be the one who protects us and guides us and gives us the things that he wants us to do and keep his commandments and his mitzvah. And that's what we need to be doing as Jews. We need to be looking at ourselves and how are we treating each other, and start doing those things that we need to do what's right, and then that impact will help change the way the world is. And hopefully Donald Trump will keep that good relationship, because it says, I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. And I don't want to see America be one of the places that gets cursed.
Yeah, it's certainly been true throughout history. What about the selection of Tim Kaine as related to that, who certainly has been no friend of Israel?
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
Same old,
yeah.
same old.
Well, not quite same old. Joe Biden, wasn't really, didn't have the same record that Tim Kaine did. His is worse than Biden's.
It's bad now. I can't imagine if Clinton got in and then we had an Arabist, a strong friend of the Islamic world. And I know full well there are many wonderful people who are of the Islamic faith.
Right.
I'm talking about jihadi Islam. They don't even see this as a threat. And she has no plan whatsoever to deal with ISIS. If she has, she would have articulated by now, but I have not heard one word that ISIS is even a threat or something to be dealt with. On the other hand, Donald Trump is very clear. Very clear. And
Knock the hell out of him.
For that, he's got my support 100%. 100%. He's certainly no racist. He wants, about immigration, he wants to know who's coming in. He doesn't. He's not saying he wants to block all people who are Muslim. Very, very, very fine Muslims living in this country. Wonderful people. But it's a particular kind of Muslim that wants to kill those who practice liberty as the United States understands it.
Well, the funny thing about race is, and trying to make him a racist because of his comments about illegal immigration in Mexico, who's been the biggest detractor of Vicente Fox. Have you seen Vicente Fox? He's got a lot more pure European heritage than any of us.
Right.
I mean, I didn't realize Mexican is a race. At least the power elite, they're pretty white in Mexico, the ones who are complaining most loudly.
But it doesn't matter what he says. He's a racist. It doesn't matter what he does. People, they say that he's hateful. It doesn't matter what he says. It wouldn't matter who was running against her at this point. They would just tar and feather whoever they could.
Same old playbook.
To stop Clinton and to stop the left.
Now, I don't know as much about your background, where you came from. You told me beforehand, before we started shooting this, you're from a very secular Jewish background, and you used to be a Democrat in Cleveland.
My whole family were Democrats. I was raised as a liberal Democrat. And then I was the first one in my family to go to college. I'm an older person. And when you go to college, you learn how to think differently than before. It trains your mind in a different way. And when I started examining exactly what the Democrats were saying and what they were doing and the hold they had on poor people and people of color, I began to question it. And I did not become a Republican. I became an independent. Because in the last election, I voted for my share of Democrats, and especially on state and local issues. But on the national level, I don't think they could be trusted anymore with power until they clean house, clean up the corruption, and start governing the people for the sake of the people instead of for the sake of the buck.
Anything you want to add?
Pretty much my family is from New Jersey, and they're mostly, I believe all of them are Democrats. I think they're Democrats because in ignorance, because I was for a while there, and I didn't understand what I know now, and being educated. And in my background, you know, I was a Christian, and I converted to Judaism. So, and I was a pastor. So, those were some things that I saw even in the movie that really disturbed me. That people use religion to keep people bound and to get their votes. And
you're talking about in the South?
Yes.
Before the Civil War, all Democrat. Okay, I haven't seen the movie yet. So.
Yes,
it's remarkable.
Remarkable.
It's a remarkable movie.
But you know, and for people of color are very uneducated about what has happened. And when you tell them, here, go see this, or here, you know, this is what happened, and they're like, no, they're living in denial. So we really have a battle of ignorance that we have to combat as well. And that's a real problem. So every time when, you know, Donald Trump says stuff, people attack him, you know, because that's what the left does.
Let me ask one final question before I run out of battery power here. Any final thoughts or a message you'd like to give to Ohio Jews who are on the fence, or Jews around the country, especially in swing states right now?
Yes, indeed. I would say, Ohio Jews, look what President Obama has done for 8 years. She wants to continue that. Look what John Kerry has done over the last few years. She wants to continue that. It's going to get worse. She appoints this fellow Kane as vice president. God forbid something would happen to Hillary Clinton and that guy came to power. He is no friend of Israel. He is a long-term friend of the Muslim states that surround Israel, and he cannot be trusted, and we all know she cannot be trusted. Just look at what's been done the last few years.
Anything you want to add?
I agree. We as Jews need to really unite. Ohio Jews really need to really unite and trust in Hashem and come together as a united front. All Jews come together and really start. Let's do what's right and be an impact. You know, make a change. As if all of us come together, and we really need to protect one another. We need to really reach out to one another. And we need to keep each other informed on what's going on and what's really happening, and not be divided. One saying, "Well, I'm voting for Democrat," and not talk to me or anything in the shul because I want to vote for Republican Donald Trump. And those are things we can't let be our issues. Our issues are not. Our issues are bigger than that as Jews, and that's what we need to stay focused on. What are our issues? What's dividing us, and unite us together as Jews, so that we can go to the Holy Land and be with our Creator and our brothers and sisters.
You want to add one more thing?
One last thing.
Okay.
As our rabbi in our congregation always says, in 50 years, there will be no more liberal Jews.
Right.
They'll be gone. They'll assimilate into nothing. And so American Jews, wake up.
Yep.
Donald Trump, President of the United States, is something that would be good for all American Jews.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, brother.